welcome to Knitting Books, etc. My name is Cristina. I'm coming to you from Lisboa, Portugal. So I'm here to do the Newbie Tag. I've been watching some other tags, and especially the tag about tags that Ross did, and one of the questions, the first question I think, is whether we have done the Newbie Tag. And everybody says that it's good to do it because then more people get to know you. So here I am to do the Newbie Tag. Let me just check the questions. So why did you start this channel? Okay, so I have a Portuguese channel about knitting, and I don't have many people to talk about books. So knitting is more popular here, perhaps. And one of the reasons is that I also read 99.5% of the books I read are in English. So it's more difficult to find someone to talk about them here. And the book community, especially in my opinion, those smallish channels are great fun to watch and to enter in conversations with those people about books. So I want to be part of those conversations. What are some fun and unique things you can bring to Booktube? I have no idea. Fun may be my blunders because I am prone to those. So again, my talking about the books I read, the books I like, discuss things with other people, perhaps that might be fun. But I don't think that I'm very original in the things I do. What are you most excited for about this new channel? So again, what I said before, talking to other booktubers about the books. Also, and this is a problem, it's exciting but it's a problem, learning about new books or new to me books. Actually, my favorite are some old books, but I'm always learning a lot about books, for example, in an area that I'm not very knowledgeable about, like sci-fi. And many booktubers are into sci-fi, so I am glad that I'm learning a bit. And I also like to ask them what are their favorites. And now, for example, I'm reading this one here, and I'm actually at the beginning but enjoying it already. So that's the main thing, okay? Why do you love reading? This is a silly question because it's like, why do you love reading, I guess? I have always read. I think I told you already, I am the fifth of 6 children my parents had, and I have 3 brothers which are 5, 10 and 15 years older than me, and one sister which is 14 years older than me, and then I have a younger sister. So my brothers, so when I was born, my next to me brother was 5, and so he attended school as did the others, and I was always wanting to read their books and learn with them. So one of the things I always loved was learning. I also loved to read anything I could. I even loved to read encyclopedias, I remember always when I went to check one word, and then I would spend hours looking at other information that I found in nearby words. But I'm not alone, because I remember once reading that Jorge Luis Borges used to read the Encyclopedia Britannica for 2 hours every day. So, but I always love to learn. I love to read non-fiction books. I love to read biographies. I love to be inspired by people that I read about. I love to read journals. I love to read fiction books, mainly classics. I also like fantasy. I think I like everything. I don't think I like horror, because I don't like, especially if it's too gory, I don't like that type of things. I'm one of those people that the only thing that makes me faint is blood. So I don't like to hear about even stories about people getting hurt, which is also almost funny, because even today I am recording this a little bit late, because I went out and went to my health center, and when passing through the blood bank, I decided to give blood, because it's been a while since I had to have surgery in the summer, so I couldn't give blood, and it's been a while, so I went there. And one of the things that it's so almost comic is that I cannot see blood. So imagine me kind of going like this inside the place where we have to go and to give blood, and then I cannot, because I cannot see anyone, and it's pathetic, but that's how I am. So horror, it's not for me, but everything else I like to read. Even sometimes I read some very bad books, because I get them in Kindle because they are free, and then I start reading them, and normally I finish them. I'm not a great DNFer. I am now a little bit better there, where I decide that, well, this is not for me, but normally I don't have those problems. It's like films. I also normally, if I start watching a film, I finish it. It's rare the film that I don't finish. I recall one, which was the film about Alexander the Great. I think it was called Alexander, I think. That I found it so awful that I was in the middle, and then I said, well, I'm going to give up. And I did. So anyhow, so reading has always been part of my life, and I cannot imagine not reading. 5. What book or book series got you into reading? So first, the little book with which I learned to read, because I asked my mother and she bought me. It's actually from a book from a Portuguese writer from the 19th century, and he was also an educator. He was a doctor, he was a writer, but he was also an educator. But that book, my mother bought it to me, and I learned. I asked her some questions, and then I was forever going after her and asking her if I was reading well. And after that, many books that I inherit from my brothers. So I mentioned already here, Enid Blyton was very important at the time, because there were hundreds of books at my house already, and then I bought more. Then there were some books there was a Portuguese edition of books that were, nowadays it would be a scandal, because they were books for girls and books for boys. of course, I read the books for girls and I read the books for boys because my brothers had, and in the library, it was the library for girls and library for boys. That's how I would translate that into English, and some the boys' books were like Black Beauty, Robin Hood, I don't know, The Last of the Mohicans, and things like that. And in the girls' books, there were some series by a French author called Berthe Bernage, and she had the Roman d'Isabelle and Brigitte. It was a series. Brigitte, Isabelle was a series of 6 books, as far as I recall, and they are it's during the Second World War, and the other Berthe Bernage, it's many, I think, kind of 40 books or something like that, and they span a great part of the 19th century. So, and I used to read those as well, and many others. I cannot remember, I don't know. I remember there was some romance novels in that library by an author called Maisie Grigg, which I think she was British, but I'm not sure, because I never saw those books again. And so those were the books that I used to. There was also a Portuguese author that had a saga, if you want, a family saga, with lots and lots of books. And then she died before she ended the series, and I never forgave her. Now I learned I never read a series that hasn't finished yet, because I don't want to be waiting and waiting and waiting and then have the author die and no one will finish the series. What questions would you ask your favorite booktuber? It depends on... so what I do when I watch Booktube, I immediately tend to open a box of comments, and I will comment while I'm watching. So I will ask questions. It depends on what they are saying at the moment. So I don't have any magical questions to ask someone, but when they talk, when I watch their videos, questions come to my mind, and or other comments. Sometimes there are comments, and then I will write them. What challenges do you think starting a Booktube channel will be the hardest to overcome? To me, it will always be my laziness, because I am lazy. I like to talk about books. I don't mind filming. I am not an expert. I use my iPad and I'm looking at myself while I'm filming. I don't have a microphone, I don't have lights, I don't have anything like that. The problem is that sometimes there's some inertia to start recording, and that happens even in the other channel I have, the Portuguese channel.